WNBA Finals, and so I'll leave it there. I mean, I'm just obviously disheartened. I'm a human too. I have a family. I have 2 kids who are devastated by these comments, and so all I'll say is just
$28 million. That is the figure that didn't just break the internet. It shook the entire power structure of professional women's basketball. As we wrap out the year, we are looking at a landscape that is unrecognizable from only 2 years ago. And at the center of it is a single contract that has the WNBA front office in a total spiral. While Caitlin Clark is publicly smiling, rehabbing from a rough, injury-plagued stretch, and holding up her new signature Nike line, the reality behind closed doors is considerably worse. Rumors are growing that Commissioner Cathy Engelbert is utterly losing control of the narrative. We aren't just looking at a sponsorship contract here. We are looking at a hostile takeover of influence. This isn't just about sneakers. It's about a financial disparity so wide it has turned colleagues into rivals and exposed a league that was completely unprepared for its own savior. We are talking about a player who in 2025 earned approximately $20 million from sponsors, while the league she plays for paid her a base salary of barely $114,000. That is a disparity that no professional sport has ever seen before. For every dollar the WNBA paid Caitlin Clark, Nike and her partners compensated her approximately $200. The commissioner is furious. The veterans are apparently resentful, and the power dynamic has flipped upside down. The WNBA used to grasp the keys. But now, with a $28 million war chest and a new rival league on the horizon, Caitlin Clark controls the deed to the building. To understand why the commissioner is reportedly seething, you have to go back to the time the ink dry on the contract. When Clark left Iowa, the bidding war was unlike anything women's sports had ever seen. Adidas was there. Under Armour was there, apparently throwing Stephen Curry into the pitch meeting to sway her. They offered stock. They offered creative control. They offered everything. But Nike dropped the hammer. $28 million over 8 years, plus a signature shoe. Something current legends like AJ Wilson hadn't even secured at the time. But here is the secret that insiders say drove the league office insane. This deal was bigger than the WNBA itself. In the past, the league handled the marketing. They controlled the narrative. They chose who the stars were. But Nike effectively granted a rookie a kingdom that exceeded the WNBA's own dominion. The bargain wasn't just a paycheck. It was a signal. It told the world that the biggest star in the building wasn't the W. It was Caitlin. And for a front office preoccupied with collective achievement and brand control, this was a real nightmare. Nike didn't just buy a billboard, they bought influence. They bought the ability to market Clark as a global icon independent of the WNBA's schedule or rules. And the timing, it couldn't have been worse for the league. Just as they were trying to negotiate a new media rights deal, their biggest asset signed a contract that made her league salary look like lunch money. It sapped the commissioner of her leverage. How can you discipline, control, or dictate a player who makes 150 times her pay from a third party? You don't. You just watch. You have to look at this from Commissioner Cathy Engelbert's perspective to comprehend the anger bubbling under the surface. Engelbert has been trying to sell the WNBA as a premier professional organization for years. She's a former CEO, a numbers person. She spent years attempting to convince Business America that the WNBA was a viable product. Then in walks a rookie whose shoe deal pays her more in 1 year than the typical WNBA player will make in a 20-year career. It is a public disgrace for the WNBA's business strategy. Every time a major outlet like ESPN or the Wall Street Journal talks about the Nike money, they are obligated to include her league salary in the same phrase. In 2025, that number was commonly reported at little over $114,000, including bonuses. It exposes the financial fissures the commissioner has been trying to disguise. The belief is that the front office is unhappy, not because Clark is getting paid, but because it demonstrates the WNBA isn't the one signing the biggest checks anymore. It creates a notion that the WNBA is a side business for Clark, while her real job is being a Nike athlete. That is a branding disaster for a league attempting to assert its dominance. When the player is bigger than the shield, the commissioner becomes a figurehead. And Kathy Angelbert is not the type of leader who enjoys being a figurehead. And it gets worse. In 2025, Clark fought with injuries that kept her off the court for nearly 70% of the season. In a normal league, a player who doesn't play doesn't produce revenue. But because of the Nike contract, Clark's brand didn't take a hit. She was still the highest-earning female athlete in basketball while sitting on the bench. This terrified the league office. It proved that the Caitlin Clark economy can survive without the WNBA. But can the WNBA survive without the Caitlin Clark economy? The empty seats during her injury absence answered that question, and the answer has the commissioner sweating. But the money is simply the spark that started the fire. Inside the locker rooms, things have allegedly been nasty since day one. We all saw the clips from her freshman year. The hard fouls from Kennedy Carter, the physical play from the Chicago Sky, the cold shoulders from legends like Diana Taurasi, who warned that reality is coming. But insiders think this Nike deal put gasoline on an already burning fire of discontent. There is a deep-seated wait-your-turn culture in the WNBA. You have veterans who have played overseas in Russia and Turkey for pennies, grinding their bodies down for a decade to earn a fraction of this attention. Then a rookie walks in with a $28 million bag and a signature shoe before playing a single professional minute. Human nature kicks in. Tensions boil up. We witnessed it in the online discussions. When Aja Wilson, perhaps the best player in the world at the time, didn't have a signature shoe, whereas Clark had, the fan bases went to battle. Wilson had to publicly tweet that she wasn't jealous, but the narrative was already out there. The old guard felt degraded. And who did they blame? The system. But they took it out on the beneficiary of that system, Clark. The commissioner is now stuck playing referee in a league that seems to actually loathe its own golden goose. It's a locker room divide that no number of PR comments can fix. And it's ripping the cohesiveness of the league apart. You have to recall the private flight controversy. For 20 years, WNBA players flew commercial. They sat in economy, squished into middle seats, dealing with delays just like the rest of us. For years, they asked the league for charter flights. The explanation was always, we can't afford it. Then Caitlin Clark comes, and suddenly security concerns rise. The league unexpectedly finds $25 million to fund a charter program. While this was a win for everyone, the optics were dreadful. To the veterans, it appeared like the league didn't care about their safety for 2 decades. But the second the golden child showed up, the checkbook opened. That breeds resentment. It creates a locker room dynamic where Clark represents the new money that the old guard had to suffer to build. The commissioner failed to manage this transition, and instead of a celebration, it appeared like a capitulation to one player's celebrity. This leads us to the darkest notion flying around the internet right now. One that has refused to die down. Why didn't the league act in sooner to stop the excessive physical targeting of Clark during those first 2 seasons? Some critics claim the commissioner's office purposefully stayed silent. The theory says that they sought to maintain the egalitarian narrative. If they protected Clark, they would be accused of partiality. So, they allowed the welcome to the league beatdowns happen. If that was the plan, it flopped miserably. Instead of humbling her, it turned the fans against the league. It made the WNBA look unprofessional, petulant, and dangerous. It made casual fans, the millions of additional eyeballs Clark brought in, feel like the league was actively hostile toward the player they tuned in to see. And here is where the Nike deal comes back into play. Now that Clark is a Nike signature athlete, she has a level of corporate protection the league can't touch. If the WNBA won't protect their asset, a multi-billion-dollar corporation undoubtedly will. Rumors have circulated that Nike reps have had pointed meetings with league officials concerning player safety. When you have a $28 million investment on the floor, you don't let her get headhunted. The commissioner is now being squeezed from both sides. The players' union who wants equality and the corporate sponsors who want their star protected. And think about the officiating. We saw game after game where Clark was blitzed, shoved, and face-guarded the whole length of the court. In the NBA, if you touch a superstar like Luka or Steph Curry, the whistle blows. In the WNBA, the whistle stayed quiet. Why? Because the league was scared of the optics of protecting the white girl, They were paralyzed by the social media conversation. So they overcorrected in the other direction, enabling a level of physicality that bordered on assault. And now the commissioner is realizing that by striving to please everyone, she pleased no one.